Ja, bei mir ist Wiemer Snijders from the commercial works. I have to switch to English, of course, because that will be our language now. Well, you've written a bestseller, Eat Your Greens. We all remember it from home times before. Yep. And, well, it's about false marketing myths. And, well, there is an assumption in the market, quite common. Young people don't consume TV, the legacy TV anymore, because they stick to online. Wrong or right?
Well, we do see that young people tend to watch linear TV less than before. But to be honest, I would say it's partially wrong. I think it's still a great way of reaching young people. I think young people watch much more TV than we actually think. That's actually what the numbers tell us. It feels intuitively right to think young people only watch Netflix, for example, but actually they don't. There's still a lot of regular TV watching being done by young people, but it's true because of new media channels, formats, they do spend a bit more of their time on other channels and other formats. So it will take a bit longer to reach a lot of them, but you can still perfectly reach them with linear TV. Yeah, so partially wrong.
Well, let's move to the next marketing myth. A lot of companies really tend to address their main customers because they say, okay, the most revenue we'll get from our really good customers. You developed a quite interesting theory called the banana system, or banana effect. Can you explain us what you are saying with banana effect?
Yeah, it's not so much an effect, but it tells you a lot about who your buyers are and which of those buyers are actually worth your attention and resources. And it's something that was discovered very long ago already, about 60 years ago already. But it tells a story about the shape of the customer base. But the person who discovered it, Andrew Ehrenberg, gave it the correct statistical name, which was a very hard to remember name. It's my humble attempt only to sort of make that a very important fundamental finding a little bit more memorable because the shape of the customer base is shaped like a banana, and I'll talk more about that and explain a little bit more. But as you say, you are right. One of the challenges in marketing is that we need to stay away from focusing only on our most profitable customers because they might seem very profitable. The problem is that there's actually only just a very few of them. And what the shape of the customer base, the finding Andrew Ehrenberg discovered and described tells us is that shape where there's a lot of people that do very little and there's the few people that do a lot. And the people that do a lot are the people that we think are very interesting, valuable customers because they buy very often or they spend a lot of money with us. That group of people always remains very small. So focusing all our efforts on a very small group of people that will not grow substantially is, in many cases, a waste of a lot of money and a lot of time and energy. And I think it's very important as marketers, especially with the media landscape changing as well, that we reshift our focus on the people that matter most.
And they are?
It's the forgotten majority, essentially. It's the large groups of people that might only buy you or visit you or watch you once a month, maybe once a year, maybe only once in 5 years. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever opened your refrigerator and found in it, let's say, a jar where you open it up and see, oh dear, this has been here for quite a while. I've had that on numerous occasions where I realized that jar was probably in my fridge for about 6, maybe 7 years. And that makes you wonder about how valuable that purchase must have been to that brand. And the interesting finding, and the thing that we've already found many decades ago, is that those purchases, those very infrequent purchases by people like me who only buy, let's say, pesto once every 5 years, are actually really important. And that's what I will be focusing on in my talk. And I try to make it a bit more memorable to help people remind themselves that marketing and brands are all about bananas.
So, in other words, you are saying, okay, most of marketers are really setting the or the wrong priorities by focusing on those customers who are easy to address, easy to activate. So, your advice would be?
Well, my advice would be to be less obsessed with efficiency, because we are very interested in getting the biggest bang for our buck. And we think that the biggest bang for our buck is very often getting the highest ROI on our spending. But the problem is that what we think is efficient is in many cases not very effective when it comes to growing our brands. So I think the biggest lesson, if we want to keep on doing a good job and selling more to more people for more, is understanding that our obsession with efficiency is actually hampering brand growth, and we should always put effectiveness first and then efficiency. But we're living in an efficiency bubble because we're all obsessed with squeezing out the most out of every dollar or euro. But the science tells us that that doesn't necessarily mean it's the most effective way of growing your brand.
I've heard this before. Effectiveness first.
Yes. I'm not the only one who's saying that. Thankfully, I think there are many people that are saying the exact same thing. But apparently, it's still important that we keep repeating that message, because we're also seeing a lot of things that are exactly contrary to what's effective, because of the efficiency that we think we're getting out of our spending and resources. So it's like being a stewardess or steward. We just need to keep reminding people, this is the way we open the thing, this is how it closes, and this is how you put it over your head. It's important stuff, and we need to keep reminding people.
Well, I tried to misquote Donald Trump. It didn't work too well. Well, thank you very much for coming to us and for your very interesting insights. And well, have fun on the Screenforce Days.
I will. It's a great event. Looks great, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.